Good morning, Ma.
Good morning to all of you.
And warm hellos to everyone tuning in live or watching us later. Such an exciting morning with a cool breeze at the farm and a bright sun that is caressing all of Mother Nature and us. So welcoming everyone here. I can see Minna Auntie and Nalini
So sweet.
and
She's
Abha
in
Mami.
India.
Yes, and Kavita Auntie.
Love you all.
Everyone joining in.
Big hugs.
Jayati says, good morning, ma'am. This is
Good morning.
feeling like almost something new. I don't know what the energy is, but I feel like we're all collectively like on this massive boat
Journey.
or like a yacht or a cruise ship, and we're
Nice.
cruising through this Sunday vibes. So, Ma, what is actually happening in the energy field?
Astrologically, there's lots of planets are moving. And I think 2023 is a great year for lots and lots and lots of people. And the only thing that's a little bit of a downturn with people's health for the elderly people. So I think people should look out for not neglecting their health. Otherwise, it's a great, great time. There's lots of opulence, lots of abundance, and lots of friendliness coming from all living beings. Whether it's the plants, whether it's the animals, the bees, the butterflies, the fishes, they're all participating and helping us, especially the human race, to augment our own energies and to go through a creative impulse where we are generating an expanse of new light to empower ourselves, to become more trusting in nature, and having the ability to do new things for ourselves and for others. And finally, it's always about sharing when you're talking to me. So how can we contribute to the plants, the birds, the butterflies, by just affirming that may all beings be happy, may all beings be nurtured by each other, and may all trust the divine. That's the highlight of this creative thrust of wellness that we are resonating with today. And I'm not sure what the exact title of this Sunday Collective is and where we're going to meander along, but I think that we are all individually individualistic, and yet we are as a collective force on planet Earth creating vibrations of wellness and sometimes vibrations of even negative thought and discomfort and disquiet. But how to realign yourself with the positive is the exploration today. Yes, Divya?
Yes, absolutely, Ma. The exact topic of today was what do I find in my aura?
Yeah.
And so everything that you just described, that collective connection, the moving of the planets, the vibrations, the thoughts, the actions that we have to take about sharing and receiving, all of that gives me an insight into what we are actually flowing with in our energy fields, in our aura bodies. So just like we have a physical body, we have this energy sheath around us, which is the aura. And so maybe that's a great place to begin with a very simple yet profound question. What is the aura?
So that's very sweet. I was also thinking for people who are listening in and were not very familiar with this pranamaya kosh, when in Vedic understanding people die, especially when I was talking about the elderly leaving the planet, then, we say in Hindi, unhone apne pran tyag diye. So what is that pran? Because the physical body is still there. So there's a subtle body of prana or energy that is like a ball of light around us. And this ball of light is just like a balloon. You can inflate it and it can deflate as well. So depending on the impulse of our thoughts, our emotions, our mental framework, the amount of food that we eat, how much we get hugged and comforted by somebody, what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, and finally about how if we have an impulse to create something, maybe it's a painting, maybe it's just a dish, maybe it's just making the bed, maybe it's just cleaning the house, or maybe just going into the marketplace to buy, a lampshade for your room, or ordering furniture, or even putting your clothes in the washing machine. Those are all creative impulses that we are doing to create a new environment, to have clean clothes, right? So that trigger of whatever we are doing is impacting this aura, is making us, change the energy. It could even be getting angry and, saying rude words, or even drinking a glass of water. Everything is in a constant change of flux. And we are, even through our breath, inhaling and exhaling, we are letting this circle of light around our aura become bigger and smaller depending on, how we are reacting to stimulus. It could be somebody is giving you, a lecherous glance, you could be shrinking with it. Or if somebody is giving you an endearing look, and, your aura could grow with it. So the impact is not just individual on what you are doing, the impact can come from an external source as well. So this structure of this aura is activated by the 7 major chakras. And these 7 major chakras that are like the inflow points of this balloon, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
even when you have a balloon, you blow air and then it becomes big. So where are these points of inflow? So there are these 7 major chakras. Of course, we have hundreds of other chakras in our body, but the 7 major chakras are located along our spine. And when we start from the base of the spine is the root chakra. Just above it is the sacral plexus or the hara chakra. Then, of course, we have the solar plexus, which is at the center of just a little bit above our navel. And then we have the heart chakra, which is at the center of our chest, the throat at our neck, the third eye chakra at our forehead, and of course the beautiful crown chakra, which is the unfurling lotus at the top of our head, which is called the crowning glory. So interestingly enough, these 7 chakras resonate with the 7 colors of the rainbow. So there's red at the root, orange at the hara, yellow at the solar plexus, pink and green at the heart, blue at the throat, purple at the third eye, and violet and indigo and gold and silver and platinum at the crown chakra. And again, interestingly enough, earth energies are most prevalent at the root, and at the hara we have the beautiful water energy. At the lovely solar plexus, of course, we have the fire, and at the at the heart we have the air prana, because the lungs are breathing in and out, and at the throat we have the space, and at the third eye we have the blissful space of new consciousness and collectiveness, and at the crown chakra we have the divine space, which is bringing us all the light, all the healing modalities, and they're pouring into us and making our auras very majestic. So depending on the color frequencies, the elements, and then of course the energies of the planets are also flowing into our aura to create consequences or enhance our potential to create knowledge and brilliance and bliss and ecstasy and joy and new happenings and new triggers of our ability to do things differently. They're all flowing in through these chakras, they're impacting our aura, and our aura is impacting then our desires and what are we thinking and planning and what we are saying. And so there's a systematic mathematical universe that is controlling this beautiful augmentation of your aura. And how can we change the frequency of our aura? It's very simple. It's just by being positive.
It's actually that simple.
It is, but of course, to get connected to the light and then to think positive, there'll be a lot more energy which you can then share with others. But at a very basic level, to be truthful, to be conscious of what you're doing, to be trustworthy, to be honest, these are all very, very strong influences that come from our higher chakras of the crown and the third eye and the throat. And loving others is also a very, very important aspect of how we infringe upon other people's energies to take something that we have not earned or we have not generated. And I think that we don't have to depend on others, we have to depend on our own connection with the divine and a download of the material energies of the 5 elements and the psychic splendor of all the planets, whether they're coming from this solar system or from other realms. And we are very empowered beings, and we have great energies to share with others, and in that process we can connect to different frequencies of light and see how they're impacting. Even the clothes that we wear impact us, even the food that we eat impacts us, even the air that we breathe and the consciousness. Supposing I'm living in Delhi and everybody's talking about the pollution in the air. Now if I really think that I am breathing in pollution, then I'm going to multiply that effect of pollution on my aura. But if I say that this is the air prana that's keeping me alive and giving me the ability to breathe, then I'm filtering. My aura is filtering out the pollution, keeping it at bay. My chakras are refiguring how to deal with that pollution. And so my lungs are not getting impacted with the pollution in the air. And I'm having clean oxygen and I'm breathing out the light, and I'm impacting others with the frequencies of goodness and light. And, of course, if we say that the air prana in Delhi is getting better, then it will. So that's how it works. As simple, very, very simply, that's the platform. Of course, we can take it to higher and higher levels. And how our meditations impact us, how
even the foods that we eat impact us.
Yeah. And certain sounds and mantras and how they impact.
So could we also imagine, for those of us who obviously don't have that ability to see the aura, that could we imagine it like a living, breathing, sponge-like energy, or is it more like a electric, translucent energy?
And it's very electric, and when you look at the aura of a person, it's just studded with gems and jewels. And these gems and jewels are very, very, very visible along the spine. And then, of course, we have very fragrant auras, which are like a breath of fresh air, and they come into the room and everybody turns and looks and they wonder who it is. And, and it could be just very, very simple people, but they have majestic auras that they are channeling that pure light of trust and comfort and peace and bliss. And it's the 108 gems along the spinal column that are always active, always spraying the individual. Remember that the back chakras are all the input points of the energy, and the front chakras are the exit points. So when we have vital good energies and we are thinking well of other people, our front chakras are spreading this energy to other people. And you're sharing the energy. And of course, then there are other people who are very needy, and they could be impinging on your aura. You could be feeling some discomfort that I don't like the energy of this person. This person is very needy. Why are they, I don't want to be touched by them. So the thing is that they could be taking some of your energy which you're unwilling to give. So there's a willingness giving, and there is a stealing part. Some people could be like vampires, and they could just be sponging off your energies. And that's how, people who do magic and different black magic and tantra and all can also interfere with your aura fields at some frequencies of light.
So how do we really journey in our individual spiritual practices, whether it be with healing, with meditation, or even the so-called simple act of good thoughts and good wishes for others and the self and the world around us? How do we get an indication of what is in our aura, actually?
A very good test I tell people is to buy 3 roses and place them at different levels, like put them in water, of course, and leave one rose on the floor of the house, one on a shelf and one a little bit higher, maybe on the mantelpiece or on a higher shelf. And you will be very quickly be able to see what is the level of the energy toxicity, because all toxic energy starts to collect from the floor upwards. So if the rose that's on the floor wilts and dies, so you know that there's toxic energy.
Okay.
And if they're all happily living till the same, like it should last for at least 5 to 7 days, looking beautiful and unfurling. So if all of them die, that means that there is toxic energy in the house. So a good way is to light a candle, a fragrant candle is very, very auspicious, or even agarbatti, dhoop, or even a ghee lamp. In the olden days, it was very important to light the ghee lamp first thing in the morning and then at Sandhya, which is at sunset time or a little after sunset. And that would keep the whole abode purified and cleansed. And another way is to, of course, mop the floors with some salt water. And if you have carpeted floors, then just a bowl of salt with water at the floor level somewhere, maybe behind a sofa or a chair or even under the table, will immediately catch the frequencies of the negative toxic energies. And a lot of healing plants in the home are very, very auspicious.
So what kind of plants are healing? Like any happy indoor plants?
Indoor plants, money plants, even
aloe vera?
Aloe vera, and we also have the Z plant.
The ZZ, yes.
The ZZ, and then we have lots of these mother-in-law
Tongues, yes.
And this long, fibrous, succulent plant.
Succulent plants. The spider plant is one of my favorites.
And even the jade plant is very auspicious.
Okay, wow.
So these are good. And Tulsi Ji, of course.
Love that,
She's the greatest healer.
And so we have Bittu Auntie. Love you, Bittu Auntie. Hello. She says, what color roses, please? If there's a specific color.
Red.
Or it can be any color.
No, root chakra.
Root chakra red is good.
If your root chakra is good and happy, and then everything is happy. Remember, the root of all foundation is red.
Love that. Love that. And then, of course, we have loving messages. I'll connect to some of those. Yes. And, of course, we have a few healing requests. So I will connect to those as well. So we have Ashwini Bhaiya, who says, love you, Mom, bowing at your lotus feet. So with a lot of gratitude. We have Kashyap, Shomamita, and Tanya, who also are joining in. Then we have Purti Sinha, Sonali Didi, all joining in. Then we have Sonali's Kitchen, who says, hello, Auntie, lovely to hear from you about the aura. That was exactly my question. And she is requesting for some time. So please reach out to the office, Sonali. I'm sure you have the numbers. Then we have Madhvi Malhotra, who says, watching and being in the presence of you, the Guru, makes the aura golden.
Grow and grow.
Yes.
I'm sending all of you lots of healing for your auras to expand. And also remember that your house also has an aura.
Wow, yes.
Your room, your bedroom has another aura. Your car has another aura. Your phone has an aura. The computer that you work on has an aura. So every object, every plant, every being, every human being, everything has their own individual auras. But the most stabilizing energy is, of course, the pale blue, like the day sky. So that's the most important blue that resonates with making stability. So it's a good energy to... water has that lovely blue energy. So whenever you're feeling depleted, I keep telling people, drink water, drink water, drink water. Water of life. So sweet.
Grateful, Ma, for that guidance. And then Madhvi says that she has a healing request for strength in everyday lives.
Yeah, so a very good thing is to put your feet in water for a few minutes, and then that blue energy of the water will penetrate and open up your feet chakras. Remember that your feet chakras are always connected to Mother Earth, and Mother Earth is always pulling the toxic waste out of your aura. And so if you're feeling tired or you're feeling that you're not strong and not honorable enough in doing your work, and there's procrastination, or there's a hesitation to move forward, or even some fear or helplessness, then a very good thing is to put some salt water, your feet into some hot water with some salt. And where Madhvi, she can have very nice fragrant bathing salts, and you can just put them. But you can use common salt from the kitchen. 1 teaspoon in half a bucket of water is good. It'll immediately diffuse the negative, pull out the toxic waste, and transform it to positive.
Grateful, ma.
That's
Then,
good.
yes, and then we have, of course, Fauzia and Ambika also sending their love and regards and joining in, and so many others. And I'm just scrolling up for Arpita's question. Of course, her love. She says, Pranam Guruma. She says that on the health front, I have a healing request for myself.
Yes.
She says that she has fibroids in her uterus and will be having to undergo a laparoscopic surgery soon. She's very grateful for your love and healing and requests for more love and healing.
Lots of healing.
Yes, Mom.
Because the uterus is designed by the divine in the human anatomy of a woman to grow, and usually it is to grow babies. And when we, in the olden days, people used to have so many babies, and nowadays we are always, either we are not married, or we don't want children, or we want only one. So the uterus, on that impulse, sometimes starts to grow things. And mostly it's fibroids, and sometimes just a bulky uterus. So the basic thing is to send out this affirmation that whatever you have to grow is auspicious for you. And even after the uterus is removed, you can still send that, impulse of thought by saying that you're creating all good fortune for yourself, and there's abundance, and you're growing intelligence, you're growing wisdom. Whatever it is that you need, you are growing from that Hara chakra in the orange light, and then it's going to sustain your aura in a very, very, very strong way. Remember, all saints in Vedic tradition are wearing the pale orange robes.
Yes,
so
Mom.
Those are the creative impulse color of the material universe. And it comes from the planet Mars as well, which is all about strength and physical well-being and auspiciousness. So we will send you lots and lots of healing for your laparoscopic surgery, but you will be well.
Love that, Ma.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some amazing feedback coming in. Grateful for the wonderful insights and every word you say to heal all of us.
Okay.
And then we have Rekha Masi, who also says, love you both so much. We all want to get rid of toxicity. Grateful for the guidance and the flower upai. I think she's excited. She's going to try that as well, as I'm sure others are.
I have
go
a
down
little
that
story
route.
to say here. That
Yes,
what
Mom.
you do and what you think and what you unknowingly do can impact, right? So the story is about Rukmini and Lord Krishna themselves. So Rukmini Devi was waiting in Dwarka, and when the war of the Mahabharata was over, Lord Krishna went back to Dwarka. And when he went home and he was having one nice meal cooked by Rukmini Devi, so she asked him a question. She said, I'm very, very, very disturbed. I want to ask you one thing. So he said, yes, tell me, you can ask me any question. So she said that when Bhishma Pitama and Guru Drona were such righteous people, why was it that you were on the side of the people who were wanting to kill them and actually killed them? So Lord Krishna said, it's very simple. So she looked at him with great admiration and a quest for knowledge. And she said that, tell me. So he said, they were very self-righteous and very great people. But they made just one mistake, that when, Draupadi was being derobed in an August assembly, they were both present. And it would have taken that one decision to stop it right there, but they didn't. So all that lifetime of righteousness was wiped out by just that one mistake.
Or that one act of inaction.
Inaction.
My
yeah.
Lord, wow.
So then she was a little bit more curious. So she said, what about Karna? So why did Karan also have, he was such a good soul, so helpful, and he did everything right. He did so much charity, even gave his golden armor away in charity. So why was he also destroyed? So he said that yes, he did all the charity and he did everything well. But when Abhimanyu was dying and he was asking for a sip of water, and Karna was standing there, and just next to him was this pond of very clean, fresh water. All he could have done was give him a sip. But because he had aligned himself with Duryodhan, and he did not want to come across as being disloyal, so he didn't give him that sip of water. So then his chariot got stuck in that same pond of water and he died.
Wow.
So sometimes we may go through life thinking that we are such good people, we are doing everything right. But it's to be very aware at moment to moment that what is your ethical trust and truth inside you, what are you doing with it? And what are you sharing, what are you nurturing, what are you doing, what are you acting with? And what is that internal desire? It is for the welfare of your family, yourself. And sometimes we may do things that are not very pious. So then again, you have to question yourself that what is sin?
What is sin?
And if we just keep doing something wrong, we can always seek forgiveness from the divine. But if we are not aware of it, then how are we going to be forgiven? Because we have to be aware and conscious, and sin can be forgiven in one moment. But when people are not aware of it, and they think they're doing right and they're very righteous, then that comes from the false ego self. So I'm saying that be appropriate, be centered, be calm, be stable, and always do the right thing. And whenever in doubt, just then stop yourself and think again how you would like to be treated in a similar situation. I think that gives us a lot of insight into how we can live our life in a better way. So Divya's a little bit taken aback.
No, I'm not taken aback at all. I'm just really pensive about how much inhumane frequencies penetrate our consciousness because of the ego. That's what I was thinking about, actually.
Yeah, and that impacts.
And that impacts. We may think that we are being very purposeful in our loyalty, or very purposeful in standing up for ourselves, or very correct in not giving that sip of water because that person is quote unquote an enemy. But at the end of the day, we are all one soul, one body. And
you're in the right place at the right time to rectify and do something that comes from your, that creative impulse in the hara. Interestingly, that's exactly where the false ego also sits.
Absolutely.
It's in that orange light at the hara.
Absolutely.
So you can grow that. It can grow very easily. It's all beating to sprout up and make some lovely new leaves, and you can say, oh wow, I'm so good. The reality is that we don't know what we are really, in the act of doing.
Yes.
So be very watchful and very, very meditative, and always chant in whichever language is,
or whichever tradition. Yes.
Chant the, truth. In Guru Nanak Dev Ji said Satnam, and other gurus have talked about Om, Amen, Amin, whatever is the sound that synchronizes with your consciousness, your birth body, your birth religion, adopted religion, whether it's Buddhism, wherever you are, everything is good. The language of the divine is the same.
Yes.
Only we have different paths to the same destination.
Absolutely. And I think that even for those of us who may not be following any spiritual or religious path, just that consciousness of gratitude, love, and sharing of goodness, I think that is like the best mantra.
True.
For all of us, Ma. Grateful.
Grateful.
And this wonderment is echoed in Divya Seth Shah's words. She says, this is so wonderful, such lovely guidance, all for peace and harmony and love.
Yeah, just stay better.
And then we have more healing requests and messages of gratitude for all the healing and blessings. So we have Megha, who shares that Rohan is very grateful for the blessings and the healing that you sent him. And then we have Parshvati, who's requesting blessings and healing for her mother, who's having pain all over her body.
She's better this morning. I sent her so much healing last night.
Yes, Ma. And then we have Davina from Montreal, who is grateful to connect through Arshia Gulati.
Oh, nice.
So welcome to all old and new and reconnected and reborn souls.
Who are activating the auras today, because I'm sending out so much healing. And, you know, if they're individually sitting there and saying, how can we participate in this moment? Drink some water.
Absolutely. And then we have Pooja Udit Pathak, who says, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Thank you for this great session, requesting for healing for a situation that, ma'am, you already know.
Lots of healing for you and Udit, and lots of blessings.
Pardon me.
For life to realign.
Yes, Ma. And then we have Mamta Dhingra, who says, Ma, what is the guidance if we have some pain on the upper part of left foot or left ankle? Kindly guide what is it that we must heal.
Out of balance.
Out of balance.
And the right side of your body is to do with you, and the left side of your body is to do with the rest of the world. So you're out of balance with the rest of the world. So send out healing, go for a walk, water some plants, and maybe feed a hungry soul, whatever it is that you're unwilling to do. It's always good to use your body to do something good for someone else, not family. Because family we already
Unknown. Unknown in your conscious life.
Yeah.
Yes, Ma, you always say that.
I was talking to somebody this morning in Washington, and they were saying that, you know, in India it's so easy, we are used to such a good life, that they are moving into a new apartment and they'd gone to the store to buy some lamps and some utensils and some beddings and, you know, sheets and things, and they said they had so much of stuff, and then they had called the Uber to take them back to their apartment, and they asked the store attendant if he could help them. So they said that he's unwilling, it's not my job, he said. You have to do it yourself. So they said that they had a bad back and they had to make 7 trips into the store and to the Uber. So I was smiling at them and I was saying, that's okay. You know, you must thank him because you took those 7 steps of your 7 chakras, and everything is for your home. So, you know, when you're bringing those things into your home, you're also healing the 7 chakras of your home. So just the back and forth is about carrying the burdens of your life, right?
Yes, Mom.
So finally, we all have to carry our own burdens or our own power, you know, empowering moments of movement, and we're navigating through life. So just in that simple act, you've done such a great healing. So you must be grateful to that shop assistant that did help you. So they were like saying, really? I said, yeah.
How transformative actually is what you've just shared, Ma, because every opportunity, event, and things that may appear to be accidental, or even he could have been agitated that why is this person who's healthy or maybe younger not helping me? But just this reframing the picture, as you always say, Ma, to just look at that as an opportunity of healing and delight and transformation for the self. that there are so many things happening in the aura that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
And so is it that sometimes when we are, that it could be magic happening in our aura, but because we're ungrateful or we're bitter or we're angry or negative or toxic, then does that receiving of the blessings from our aura get delayed?
Yeah, they could even be
Eradicated.
barricaded. And then you would have to do so much more work and so much more. And you would say, I don't feel comfortable in my apartment because maybe one of the chakras is a little smaller. It's not closed. You can open it.
Just by the healing, by good thought, by the chants. Yes.
Lighting a candle, cooking fragrant food, lighting... just sending out good thoughts, meditating, chanting Om, chanting just peace and love and truth, enter my home, and whatever, an affirmation could be perfectly empowering. But I'm saying that sometimes people will look at situations and we are always thinking that the universe is not helping us. But why I shared the story is that the universe is always helping.
I love that. Claps for the universe.
Yeah. Every soul is participating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think this answers even Fauzia's question, which is, ma'am, what should we do to improve the aura of a particular room? So she could be feeling uncomfortable in that room because there's something that's blocked or barricaded, and she's a healer, so she can just absolutely...
And read from the Quran Sharif, or take a kalma and repeat it a few times, or just one word.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I remember I had been gifted this one book with the 99 names of Allah, and I actually misplaced that book somewhere, but it told how many times that you read this word in this frequency and it will activate a certain
auspiciousness, emotion of auspiciousness. I love that.
And so she will know.
She knows. So she just has to do it, Fauzia. You just have to do the healing and do the chants and sound vibrations. And heal.
Yeah.
And we have Amina who joins in, saying grateful for all the guidance that is healing our aura, and we are all living in deep awareness of our impacts.
Yeah, especially inviting the blue light in from the sky and the water and all the oceans and rivers and ponds and seas. And they're all participating. They're also great healers. Remember, the seas and the oceans have lots of salt in them.
Yes, ma'am.
So swimming in the sea would be
together.
So blissful.
So blissful.
Or just by thought, inviting the ocean into your home and saying, please cleanse my abode, could also be a great healing opportunity. The ocean will be so happy that you have remembered.
We have remembered.
Yeah.
And we have two questions that I can see now, maybe more as well as I scroll down. But two questions as of now that take us back to the story of action and inaction, in the Mahabharata.
Yes.
And so we have Mayuri from Bombay who asks that, but ma'am, why couldn't and wouldn't they stop the disrobing of Draupadi?
Because there was a certain part of their false identification and their alignment with the Kauravas, and they said that the Pandavas had willingly come and they had lost, so it's part of the play. And maybe somewhere the Mahabharata war had to be played out, and it was the design of the divine, so they were participating.
Yes, ma'am. And I think that, for those who know the story, I won't get into it in too much detail. But just for Mayuri's question and those of us who are familiar, even if you're vaguely familiar with the Mahabharata and this incident, it also always seemed to me, Ma, correct me if I'm wrong, that there is a perception of the rules, like you said, like the rules of the game. And sometimes we feel that, these actions are verified or they are absolutely sanctified or truthful because they're within this structure of some rules. But we forget that those rules are material rules. They're not the divine rules.
Spiritual.
And they're not spiritual. So we must intervene when those rules are
being broken or dishonored.
When the divine rules are being dishonored, but we must intervene when even some material rules are being followed that are unethical and immoral.
Exactly.
Yes, ma. So that's what it is. That they thought that the material rules, Mayuri, were more important than the divine rules.
Yeah, absolutely right.
I love that, Ma. And then we have Mamta Dhingra again, who asks that, Ma, also please guide us on how can we gather courage to transform inaction into right action and dissolve our ego with humility while we are still fearful of being rejected. Maybe like Karan, who didn't offer Abhimanyu the water sip. I think that's what she's referring to, Ma.
No, but I can share another story of a man who was in the desert and he had just water enough for 48 hours, and he was going around and he was looking and he'd lost his way and he couldn't find his destination. And then at the distance, he saw this beautiful little hut. And he thought, is this an illusion? Is the hut really there, or what's happening? So when he went into the hut, there was some food. So he quickly replenished his belly with some food. And then he looked around, and then, he was thinking, I wish I had some water, And then his eyes fell on a hand pump. So he got very excited and, he started pumping, but no water came up. So he was feeling very frustrated. And then from the corner of his eye, he saw that there was a bottle of water. So he got very excited. And when he picked up that bottle, a paper was just under the bottle and which said that use this water to pour it into the hand pump to start the water.
Oh.
And, you must make sure that after the water comes and you've taken as much as you want, remember to fill this bottle and leave it for the next traveler. So now this man was very thirsty. So the question was that should he pour this water down into the hand pump or should he drink it to quench his thirst? So the battle, goes back and forth about the faith, about the trust, about doing action, and this always wondering that what if it's a joke and I lose the water that can actually quench my thirst. And then finally there is a spark of divine intervention and he does pour the water into the pump, and then he goes pumping, and then immediately the water comes up. And
Absolutely.
He drinks, and then he fills the bottle, and he fills a few other bottles for himself to take on his thing. And then when he's putting the bottle back, he finds that there's also a map telling him exactly where he's in reference to other cities and villages. And then he's, very grateful. And then when he's putting the bottle back on that piece of paper, he picks up the paper and he writes on it, believe me, it works.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
And then he takes the water and his big, belly full of water and food and all, and he goes
on his way, and he knows exactly what direction to go.
Yeah.
Super.
So the thing is that sometimes there will be doubt, there will be distrust, there will be, associative false ego that we know better. And how can we trust? How can we trust the divine? How can we trust other human beings? How can we trust this moment? What is the moment bringing for us? But if you are devoted to doing the action in the now, in synchronization with the information that's coming to you from the external universe, then you will make the appropriate action. So answering Mamta's question, finally it's what, in Hindi it says, Kitna ghee shakkar tumne dala hai?
Yes.
That how much of sweetness and effort
are you bringing to the table?
Finally, you're only going to get.
Actually, not even the table. I think bringing to the recipe of your karmic life and your karmic comb. Like, what are the ingredients that you are bringing in the now to add to the taste and the flavor of your karma?
What is the dish you're going to prepare for yourself today?
Absolutely.
Finally, it's about how you think and how you acknowledge the presence of the divine. Absolutely. And how you know that there's sufficiency for one and all.
Absolutely.
Never feeling deprived.
Never feeling deprived.
That was a story that just popped up in my consciousness.
Grateful, Ma. Always grateful for all that you share with
Because
us.
we are all weary travelers. And what is that lovely number? 48 hours he had, no?
Yes.
So 48, if you add it up, adds to 12. And then you add up the 12, it adds to 3. And 3 is the synchronization of the planet Jupiter and the presence of the Guru and the teacher and the light. And finally, our ability to hear.
Hear. It's always coming
truth.
back to that current, that what could he hear and what did he unhear
Unhear.
and refuse to hear.
Refuse to hear and to refuse to act just because he wanted to show his loyalty. So loyalty to someone who's already not in alignment with the divine is not real loyalty to the divine, right?
And to the purpose of all creation.
All creation, yeah.
So in that same flavor, we have Madhvi again asking that how do we deal with a person who is being bullied, or how should the person who's being bullied respond to the bully?
Why will they feel that it's bullying? Why don't they see it as some truthfulness of their own false ego that is surfacing and the universe is telling them to change? So it's always about change. Remember that the universe never tells lies. So you may think it's bullying, but it could be something that they're trying to help you change about your personality.
Yes, ma'am.
The same as the shopkeeper saying that, it's not my job to carry your parcels to the Uber taxi on the road. Right?
Absolutely.
So you could think it's like he's really being a bully, he's not helping. Why can't he help? He's so strong. Finally, it's about how you see and what you hear and what you decipher and what your brain is thinking of. It's all coming from impacts of influence that we've experienced in previous lifetimes and sometimes in this lifetime, and sometimes it could be just yesterday. Even when you drink a glass of nimbu pani, which you may have made yourself, you have no one else to blame, but we still find that this sugar is too sweet because the sugar was a different quality, or the lime was too big so it's become very sour, or there's not enough. We're very quick to blame the lemon that he was not the right size and the frequency, and that glass of nimbu pani that we made was so different. I had somebody recently tell me that they made nimbu pani in India, which was so tasty, and when they went to America, the same flavor in the lemon wasn't there. So I was just thinking, wow,
So we should actually enjoy the flavor that we're receiving in that moment, and not be bullied by the memory of
what's
nimbu.
happened.
Sometimes we bully ourselves. I was thinking about that, Madhvi, as she was asking that sometimes we
as
bully
a healer,
ourselves.
all bullying is felt at the liver and gallbladder with our right kidney, because we always have a certain frequency or impression about love and respect and honor from the external world. But the reality is that we ourselves are not respectful to ourselves, and the universe is only resonating. So you have to change something within yourself. So you have to really eliminate doubt and maybe just change your friendship group if you feel that you're being bullied. Sometimes it's better to be alone than to be with someone who's being toxic in the relationship. So sometimes it's more difficult to walk away than to stay and just tolerate.
And also, Ma, I can share that sometimes as a young person, traversing through life, especially if you're in academia or you're studying, or even maybe with your parents and other elders in and around your family and extended circle, sometimes we might find, like Ma said, that guidance or information or someone holding up the mirror to our achievements as well as our failures can seem like bullying. So as a healer, you can transform that into actually feedback.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
it is feedback.
It is feedback.
And the person is really repeatedly doing something that's making you disquiet or
uncomfortable,
frustrated or uncomfortable or angry even. So you have to walk away from
You
that
have to walk away from
relationship.
that relationship, and also walk away from your neediness of approval from that
From
relationship.
that relationship, yeah. And then you drop that, and the relationship could survive and be comfortable.
Yes.
It's like being a pathologist, you know. You keep looking at that person and saying, okay, you said this to me, you're such a bully, you're so hurtful, you're so bad. But why are you being a pathologist? Let them be
And you
part
move
of
on.
your life pattern. Somewhere they've come because you owe them something from a previous life, even if it's hate and anger. These are things and emotions that we have to gift because they are sitting in our aura.
Yes.
And our aura is overcrowded.
Overcrowded.
So we have to, so that's why I say, put your feet in salt water maybe once a week to get rid of all the toxic waste. And remember to thank Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is constantly taking our negative vibrations and transmuting them into love and light and energy for the food that grows.
Yes.
The
Love
trees
that.
and the plants, and energy for the animals and the little bees that live inside the body of Mother Earth.
Fantastic, Ma.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, fantastically empowering is what I should say.
So sweet.
And then we have Sweetie Auntie who says, thank you so much, ma'am, for all the guidance and blessings.
Yes,
And then we have a very interesting question about the aura of the house through, I guess, physical manifestation. That we have Soumya, who first begins by saying, love you, ma'am.
Love you.
And she says that their house is infested by ants and they've tried everything, yet the ants get on everything, even laptops. What does this indicate about the aura of the house?
Yeah, it indicates ants are actually, when they sting, they're very, very, very sharp stings. Even the tiniest of ants can give you a big reaction in your body. So it's actually an energy of anger. So this anger is coming in through the door. That means that the fire corner of the house is not sufficiently stable, or maybe that there's too much activity in the fire corner, which is the southeast, and so the ants are coming. So a very good solution to it is at the main door of the house to put 2 or 3 drops of mustard oil. You know, in the olden days they used to put the mustard oil when they were welcoming a new bride or a new infant was born and they were bringing the baby back from the hospital, so that all the energies of the auras were magnified into auspiciousness to enter the house with all goodness. So I think it's a good thing. You can do it for 7 days and then wait to see that there'll be a change, and then you can continue to do once or twice a week. Mostly on Saturdays is a good thing. 3 drops on the right side of the main door and 3 drops on the left side of the main door, standing outside the house, not inside, so that all the toxic waste stays out and it doesn't come in. So that's a quick fix. And then sometimes just, maybe sticking a silver coin on the door frame can also help.
Yes, Mom.
Nice.
Very nice. I'm just taken to how the house and the creatures around us also give us the messages of the aura.
Yeah.
And what we find in our aura is also what we find in our lives and our homes and our bodies.
And just like the chakras, the main door of the house is the crown chakra of the house.
The house is aura. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Fascinating.
Fascinating.
And
so keep it clean.
Keep it clean.
Salt water, pocha, mopping of the floor with salt water is very, very,
very important.
Important, or a good instrument to diffuse the negative energy.
Yes. And then we have Chavi, who says, hello Renu Auntie, Divya, requesting healing for good health and letting go of all pain. Thank you.
All pain?
Yes, all pain.
Okay. Emotional, mental, physical, financial, spiritual,
and all others.
And ego.
And ego, the pain of the ego.
Ego is the biggest harbinger of pain. In fact, I was sending healing to Parshvati's mother last night because she had requested.
Yes, Mom.
And all the energy went to a very interesting complex that it went to the ears and the third eye. So it was one pyramid of light that was activating the good energy from flowing. And the second was from the false ego to the ankles. So from the hara,
Yes, ma'am.
it was a long triangular pyramid.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
from the hara, it was going to a lack of balance in the ankles. So I said lots of healing to the false ego and balance. And you know, when you're balanced, then you're hearing everything appropriately, you're thinking right, and then all disease is eradicated.
Fabulous.
So it was quite a special moment.
Special moment.
Yeah.
So, Ma, I'm going to thank everyone for their participation, presence, and deep
Love.
listening and deep love, and all the questions that we couldn't get to today.
We'll come back
Next week for more questions and more spiritual answers in the spiritual journey with you, Ma. But there's a very loving message from Shwetishi from Australia who says, "Good morning, ma'am and Divya. I am so grateful to be able to join in from Australia. The best way of spending my Sunday afternoons. Requesting healing that I find the right job here very quickly."
Yes, very soon.
Absolutely.
Before 14th of April.
Oh,
Love
wonderful.
you.
And of course, there are many healing requests from Parul Kashyap to find balance and solace, from Preeti Porwal to find her purpose and knowing how much she should share in this life, and a lot of requests for healing for people who have gotten this unusual new virus, ma'am. Influenza, yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
lots of healing. Keep yourselves masked and be safe. And we're sending lots of healing to all the people who are not well out there.
Yes, ma'am.
And to get well soon. And I know from tomorrow the planets change, things will be better.
Absolutely. And so in this moment, what shall we think or
of.
meditate on?
And sound of Om.
The sound of Om.
Yes. So we can conclude the session with chanting Om 3 times.
Yes, ma'am.
So take a deep breath and chant with us. Love you all. Stay well, stay happy, stay healed.
Yes, ma'am.
And your auras are resplendent with the blue and purple light. God bless.
Grateful, ma. I
See you
really
soon.
enjoyed that Om. It was like a root chakra Om.
Yes, from the earthing, grounding. Love you all. Bye.